Okay, so there's a couple things that companies like HP and Dell and all that do really, really well. And because they make a lot of laptops and because they make a lot of pre-built systems and because they make a lot of all-in-ones and things of that nature, they usually make pretty good panels. I'm not going to say they're great, but they usually are pretty decent. So we're going to take a look at an offering from HP. It's a 22-inch IPS monitor, and we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. Okay, so two disclaimers here to get out of the way. One, yes, I took some time off. I was very, very frustrated with the way that things were going and my overall mood and just trying to push out 2 videos a week when sometimes it felt like a great amount of effort was being put into not a whole lot of results getting back. I did take some time off because somebody flat out asked me, are you having fun? And I wasn't 100% sure I could answer that yes. So I took a little bit of time and I appreciate it. I took an entire week off, maybe a little bit more than that by now, but by the time this gets on the air. But I appreciate everybody sticking with me. I appreciate all the new people that have come aboard, and I appreciate everybody that's gone back and watched videos and given feedback and input. It's been great to see, and I really, really appreciate it. The second disclaimer I will make about this video is even though this is going to be an overview or review, I'm not going to be looking at stuff like color density, contrast ratio, whether this is an HDR type monitor, whether there's any screen tearing in a 75 hertz monitor if you're trying to push it at 300 hertz or 300 frames per second if you're playing CSGO or something like that. I've got a 22-inch monitor that I'm going to be using to go on the road with. It's a V222VB by HP. It's 22-inch. It's, well, actually 21.5 diagonal. It is an IPS screen. It's 1080p, and it runs at 75 hertz. So we're going to take a quick look at it. I'm going to show you kind of what's on it, what connections, how it looks. We'll do a brief little overview, and I'll tell you, basic stuff like what's in the box, and just give you that kind of, my opinion if it's going to do the job that I need it to do. I won't truly know that unless I take it back and forth several trips, like I'm going to Ocala, or if I'm going, somewhere else and taking Danny D with me. That's the small computer that one of the other videos is in. But until I get that done a couple times and some trips back and forth and really test it out and see how durable it is, I won't know all that. But I can at least give you my first impression, and that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so it looks like your pretty standard packing so far. Part of the stand here. We've got HDMI cable. Those don't always come anymore. That's pretty cool. Power cable, and got basically the manual and everything. And we will dig the rest of it out in here in a second, but we'll see how that looks. All right, the bottom part of the stand came in the other side of the box. We've got the monitor itself, pretty standard fare. We'll go ahead and assemble it and put it together and start talking about it. All right, power. We got a VGA and an HDMI. Really nothing special down here. There's, besides not being able to focus, not a whole lot exciting, not a whole lot going on. Just one HDMI, just one VGA. But for the price that we're paying, it was $131. I don't expect a whole lot, and that's what we've got. We've just got, it doesn't have to be a whole lot. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple of likes and dislikes right off the bat. You're looking at the back of it, you're looking at the Vesa screws. So it will Vesa mount. We talked about the power and the inputs before. There's a VGA and an HDMI, like I said. Surprisingly, it does tilt very, very easily. With one hand, you can tilt. The thing that I am not sure I'm a big fan of, it does have a pretty wide-looking bezel all the way around. Now, that's not a deal breaker, but that's more of something that was, well, like my old Asus monitor here, that it's like 5 or 6 years old, and that's more of an older style. But you know what? It seems to be pretty well solidly constructed. The stand is kind of plasticky, which that's the only other thing I don't like about it, but it snapped together very, very easily. And so the next step is just to kind of turn it on and see what it looks like. Okay, well, one thing I will say here is it does appear, this is a regular TN panel, this is an IPS panel, and I do have it set up. It does appear that this one's a little bit darker And I misspoke. It's a 60 hertz instead of 75. I would have sworn it was 75. It's not. It's 60. But that's okay, because it should be more than enough for what I need. I'm not really sure I like the level of brightness. Now, the controls are all down here. They're easy to get to, easy to see. Let me switch here, and we will go. That should be brightness, and it is. And see, it's already pretty well up there. I might have to play with the contrast and the brightness and all that stuff, but I'm not so sure I'm really, I mean, it looks fine. It just doesn't look that great compared to an older monitor that's already, I guess, burned in or whatever. But will it do the job? Yeah, I imagine it will, and it should be fine. So I do like the fact that all the controls and everything are right here. That's awesome. And easy to get to, easy to see, easy to read. That's really, really good. And overall, the monitor looks pretty good. Let me try a couple benchmarks and a couple games, and let's see kind of what it looks like for there. All right, one issue I do have between HP, Amazon, and whoever else is running the party, that clearly says that it's 75 hertz. Right there, right underneath the HP, it says 75 hertz refresh rate. And this is absolutely not 75 hertz, it is 60 hertz. Now, the color's not too bad. I can live with the color. It is a little bit dimmer than I thought. I did try to adjust it a little bit, and I'm not going to really complain about that. A couple things that you need to be aware of if you're looking at this monitor. It does not have sound. It is only 22 inches, so you can see the size difference between something. I believe this is a 27, this is a 22. The bezels are going to be a little bit wider than I would probably normally expect out of a monitor, but it is only 131 bucks, like I said. So it's a really, really decent price right now. So you're getting what you pay for, but I was a little bit surprised that it was advertised as 75 hertz and is only 60. So let me show you a little bit of the gameplay, and then I'll try to wrap this up. So overall, what do I think of it? It's a good size. I like it. It's going to be portable. It's going to be fine to take back and forth with me, and I think it'll do the job. It seems sturdy enough, even though the base is a little bit more plastic than I would have maybe thought. But I mean, 131 bucks. Like I said, it's under $132. And I believe there was even an option to split up payments or whatever. But it's an inexpensive 22-inch IPS monitor, 1080p. 60 hertz. Description says 75. All the documentation, I checked the model numbers. HP, Amazon, you guys got to get your story straight. It's a 60 hertz. It's not 75 hertz, okay? And I've double checked everything that comes with the monitor and the monitor itself. There's no settings to be able to go past 60, and all the documentation that came with the monitor says 60. Model numbers match the website. So it's not 75. Keep that in mind, folks, when you're looking. Don't think it's going to be. Nothing's wrong with 60. That's great. 1080p 60 is perfect. And for, like I said, for the price, it's fine. It's not going to be your top-of-the-line gaming monitor, but it doesn't have to be. That's not what it's designed for. It's designed to be an everyday monitor that you can do some streaming, some gaming, and just regular stuff on. And in my case, portable. And that fits the bill just fine. So what do I think of it? I think it's fine. I think it's worth the money that I paid for it. I think if you're looking for either a secondary monitor or if you're trying to get a monitor to hold you over, now's a great time. If you're building a PC or something like that, or especially if you're building a PC out of retro parts or older parts, or maybe you're just trying to put something together like an office PC, the Dell Optiplex that I did at one time. Perfect monitor for that. It's that Dell Optiplex is a small form factor. This would go great with that in a little shelf space or on a little desk somewhere. It's perfect. It's great. The colors are good. I did like how everything you could go ahead and everything from the front panel was easy to read, easy to get to. A lot of times you have to fumble for controls underneath or behind something. This was all like right in front and easy to read, and it popped right up. So it was perfect. Overall, very happy with it, very pleased with it. There are a couple things that I wish were a little bit better, and there is that one thing about the refresh rate that I did not like. But overall, I'm going to give it a good. I would definitely pay the money for it again. I would definitely buy it again. And I'm telling you guys, if it's something that you're in the market for, I think it's fine. There have been a few issues online that a couple people weren't happy with one thing or another. I'm waiting to see if any of those crop up. So I kind of reserve the right to give my final approval until some of those things have passed or until I find out. But for what I need it for, I think it's going to do fine. And if it tears up on me, or if I, drop it on the way somewhere or do whatever, then it didn't break my bank. $100 is a lot of money still, but especially now. But it's not going to be a complete budget buster. It's worth it. I definitely think it's the worth what I paid for it, and it met my expectations. I'm not going to say it exceeded. There have been a few things that have exceeded my expectation, but it definitely met. So thanks again for kind of hanging out this far. If you have, I appreciate it very much. Don't be afraid to visit me on the other socials. If you liked the video, go ahead and throw a like on it. If you didn't, you can throw a dislike, but nobody's going to see it anyway, I guess, now with YouTube. I don't know what's going on. And until next time, I've got a couple other things going on. I'm still looking at upgrading this to Windows 11, which means I have to redo the file system. And yeah, that's another whole thing. And my sister just bought a computer that I get to help redo some things in. She bought a pre-built. Yeah, but we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it for her. Don't worry, we're going to fix it. Anyway, stay tuned for that. But until next time, folks, I'll see you later.